What is going on, my North County fam? This your girl Kelly, and I'm here to give you the rundown on what happened in St. Louis County government this week. And I'm gonna get right into it. But first, Happy New Year! It's 2022. Let's get it. And I'm gonna get right into it, like I said, with these highlights. So, first and foremost, the St. Louis County Council members elected their leadership, so their chair and their vice chair for 2022. So the chair, there was one nominee. Uh, the current, or this, who's been the chair for the past year or so, Councilwoman Retta Days. And she was elected to serve as the chair for the St. Louis County Council 2022. So, yeah, she's been reelected. And everyone voted for her except Kelly Dunaway, and she basically went off because Councilwoman Dunaway, she doesn't say a lot, but she felt the need to express herself about how she felt a certain type of way about Chairwoman Days. But anyway, Chairwoman Days got the votes, so she will serve as the chair again for 2022, and the vice chair will be Councilwoman Shalonda Webb. So everybody voted in favor of her serving in that capacity. And I'm sure that this has never happened where you have black women that are serving as the chair and the vice chair of the St. Louis County Council. So, yeah, y'all, that's something. The next highlight I wanted to mention, and everybody done heard about it by now, the mask mandate came up yet again last night. Clancy has been spearheading this for months, and getting the county council to pass a mask mandate in St. Louis County. And like, it's real out here now, y'all. Everybody named Mama got COVID, been exposed to somebody that got COVID. It's real out here. And she also expressed that she had a letter of support with over 200 signatures of medical professionals urging the St. Louis County Council to issue a mask mandate to support the health and well-being of St. Louis County residents. So again, months and months, Councilwoman Clancy has been spearheading this effort, and so yeah, she there was a vote put forth, and obviously everybody wasn't checking for it. Council members Fitch, Tracus, and Harder, they really weren't checking for it, calling this illegal. Tracus was going in saying that it was, quote, reckless, soft tyranny, and passion without reason. Councilman Harder said, look, if this order passes, he hopes that the state attorney general, Eric Schmidt, is peeping it and that he files a lawsuit to sue St. Louis County. Where they do that at? Do that here, apparently. So, all in all, the vote went down in favor of the mask mandate was Days, Dunaway, Webb, and Clancy. Against the mask mandate was Fitch, Tracus, and Harder. So, yes, y'all, there is a mask mandate in St. Louis County. However, I feel like this ain't over. So, yeah. The next highlight I wanted to mention, there was a committee of the whole meeting prior to last night's county council meeting to discuss two pieces of legislation that were sponsored by council members Fitch and Harder, aimed at curbing folks getting their cars stolen, because it's real out here with that all over. And so, again, there were two pieces of legislation, two bills. So the first, Bill 326, if passed, prohibits vehicle prowling. And this means that it prohibits folks from pulling or trying successive car doors. And successive is defined as like more than one. And also entering a vehicle that people don't own without the owner's permission. And then the second piece of legislation, Bill number 336, if passed, prohibits vehicle tampering, which really gets to people stealing those catalytic converters. So in the meeting, you had the council folks, and then there were various people from St. Louis County Police Department, as well as I think it was Ellisville and Manchester, because they had just recently passed similar pieces of legislation, so they were talking about it, even though they couldn't really comment too much on it because the bills literally just passed within a month or so. So it's like, yeah. But they offered their perspectives on things, and I will say, Councilwomen Days and Webb, they got straight to the point, and they asked specifically, they really spoke to the folks representing St. Louis County Police Department, the auto crimes folks. So there was a Sergeant Shepard and a Detective Nicholas. So they were there speaking about the issue in St. Louis County with car theft and all that. And flat out, Councilwomen Days and Webb said, look, will these bills, if they're passed, disproportionately impact our Black people? Okay? Point blank, period. Because we know racial profiling, all of that. So is this going to make that worse? So the response from both of those gentlemen was a resounding no. It won't. There was mention of police officers going through implicit bias training to prevent racial profiling. Also, the sergeant, he was like, look, I'm keeping a buck. It's not just, it's Black people and white people. It's all types of people out here stealing these whips. Something else that they mentioned was that they believe that police officers will do their due diligence in investigating, if the bill is passed, in really investigating, to see like if the cops are called because someone's suspected of vehicle prowling, of them approaching that person, talking to them to really get a sense of, if they're being suspicious and doing some shady stuff, or if they literally are just, they're trying to find their car or whatever. So, they feel like, the police officers will exercise the right, they'll exercise with their expertise and talking to people to handle the situation in a way that does not result in any type of racial profiling or any of that stuff. So Councilwoman Clancy, she raised an issue about targeting youth, because I know there was discussion about some of these folks doing this stuff being young people, so under the age of 18. And, Councilwoman Clancy, she expressed her issue with, putting these young people in the system because, once you get in the system, it's really hard to get out, and it really impacts everything in your life, right? Once you have that record. Something that was mentioned was that if juveniles if these pieces of legislation are passed, if the juveniles are found guilty of doing these acts, they're not going straight to the adult side, right? They go through another avenue, which is through family courts, I think. So that was discussed. So after the committee of the whole, fast forward to the county council meeting yesterday evening, both of these bills were up for final passage, and both of the bills, they passed. The lone no vote was Councilwoman Clancy on that. So, but they did pass. And then the final update I have for y'all, ARPA funding. So no, not the AARP, because I know how we are with these acronyms and stuff and words. I'm talking about ARPA, ARPA, which is an acronym for the American Rescue Plan Act. So everybody named Mama, including St. Louis County departments, have requested some ARPA coin for 2022. And the county council, they put a pause on the request that the St. Louis County departments made, when they were asking for this ARPA federal funding for their budgets for this year, for 2022, because they were unsure if the funding requests were in compliance with the federal regulations on how this ARPA funding could be spent. Because, if they spend the money and ain't supposed to be spent that way, then St. Louis County got to pay them millions back, and ain't nobody got $1 million to pay back to the feds, okay? So they want to make sure that they're in compliance and doing the right thing. So on last night's meeting agenda, County Executive Sam Page, he submitted a letter, email, whatever it was, requesting that the County Council approve of the ARPA funding request from the following departments: Administration, Human Services, Public Health, Information Technology, Transportation and Public Works, Planning, Office of the County Counselor, Prosecuting Attorney, Municipal Court, and the St. Louis Economic Development Partnership. So combined, they're requesting, we talking like roughly $20 million. And that's give or take a few coins because, I don't know, I kept seeing a whole bunch of different numbers up in there. So that's my rough estimation, roughly $20 million they're requesting. Also, there are other proposals on the table, from the council. So the South County Strong Plan, this plan for North County. I know there's also a request in there to improve the dispatch system for the St. Louis County Police Department, all of that. So that totals roughly $157 million. So word on the street is that there's supposed to be a survey going around asking residents to weigh in on how this. So St. Louis County, they received a total of $193 million in ARPA funding. So again, word on the street, there's a survey going around. So residents can weigh in on how the coin should be spent. Because if you can't tell, St. Louis County ain't got no real plan on how they're trying to spend this coin. And so their consultant, Deloitte, suggested that they should have started first with talking to the residents, seeing, the needs of the residents, and then shaping the county's spending priorities around that. However, the county didn't do that. And so Deloitte is supposedly, I guess, working with St. Louis County to come up with a survey that can be, again, disseminated throughout the county so residents can say, hey, these are our needs, and then the county can kind of go from there with figuring out how to develop a plan to spend this $193 million. Now, there's been no word about this survey. I ain't heard nothing about it. It's been crickets. Is it going to happen? I don't know. And especially we have all these proposals on the table. I mean, that $193 million, it might already be spent by now. I don't know. So, to be continued. And the last thing, rounding out with the legislative corner. So in addition to the bills related to vehicle prowling and tampering that I spoke to that were finally passed last night, there's another bill that I wanted to mention that was also passed. This is bill number 403, which provides the health department with $10.9 million for support of services provided that qualify as eligible expenses under the American Rescue Plan Act, aka ARPA. That's all I have for y'all this week. Please stay safe out there, like for real. Be safe out there, and you'll see me soon. Peace.